tribe that actually love all tribes in South Sudan, genuinely. Another thing is, you don't find them attacking other people on their social media pages. You will never see Anwer seeing a Dinka talking on social media on their things, or even talking bad about them and they attack you. They don't do that. But we have been faced with a lot of challenges on social media. One of the things that we cannot even comment freely. We cannot even write our own opinions freely on Facebook or say our opinion on TikTok or anything. You will find the Dinka community abusing us. You will find the Dinka community attacking us even on our own live shows, even on our own pages. They don't want us to comment about whatever we want to say. When you talk about Dr. Riek, they attack you. When you talk about anything about South Sudan, about we, that Nuer, that this and that, they will always come to your show and attack you. And I don't think if this is healthy. This is not healthy. This is not healthy. If we talk about freedom of speech, you need to respect other people's opinions. Not everything should be about your people. Not everything should be about Dinka community. It doesn't work like that. You need to give other people a space to breathe. We need to breathe. We already know President Salva have destroyed South Sudan. This is one thing that we all know, that President Salva, even the Dinka community, even if you are not telling yourself the truth, we all know President Salva corrupt Jinuf. Corrupt Jinuf. He destroys South Sudan beyond repair by himself. He cannot repair it again. Peace cannot come under the leadership of President Salva Kiir Mayardit. Reconciliation cannot happen in the hands of President Salva Kiir Mayardit. These are things. These are things that we all know that will not happen. Even if you put President Salva in presidency for the next 20 years, even if God will allow Salva to have another 100 years and he become the president of South Sudan for 100 years, you will never see any change from South Sudan, because he could not give us change for a period of 20 plus years. Today we are remaining with 29 days. We are remaining with 29 days for President Salva to complete the chapter of 21 years on 11th of August 2026. He is only remaining with 29 days to complete 20. What is it that he did not do for these 20 years that he will do in the next election, that everybody is trying to make noise that there's election? When we tell you there's no election, you affect us. Actually, what really made me to think deeply from last night up to today was there was an election that was done by IE plus 211. IE is not a Nuer. IE is a Dinka. He's not a Nuer. So IE did an election. There was a voting on social media. And in this voting on the social media, there were only, I think, Nuer people, there were 2. The only Nuer people in this list were only 2. Everybody was in the list, including Honorable Makwei was in the list of election on that social media contest. And then Honorable Makwei got 1% in that election. Honorable Makwei got 1% in that election. And Dr. Riek got 37%, leading the election. When he lead the election, followed by President Salva with 24 points. And when we share, everybody start abusing us. They start abusing us in our own pages, in our own Facebook pages. We did not go to any other person pages. We shared this in our own Facebook pages. And when we shared, the abuse started from yesterday when we shared up to today. The Dinka community or the individual from social media that come from the Dinka people start abusing us on social media, on Facebook, on our pages. And this election was not done by us. It was done by your own person, your own son, your own child. You had to vote for a very long time because it was there for almost 3 or 4, 5 days or even 1 week. But you never voted. When Dr. Riek win and we share it, the whole abuse, it's AI. The whole A, this and that, all the awful words, you shared them to us. This one was not fair. And this shows there are some people in South Sudan, there are some community in South Sudan that don't want the truth. There are some people that don't want the truth in South Sudan. Because if you cannot accept reality that are happening openly, then that shows that we have a long way to go as South Sudanese. We have a long way to go. Because if you can't accept that you have one, you want to have 50, and you have only one, then this is not the way South Sudan will be ruled. There is an article, today I wrote a lot of articles. And let me try to see if I can maybe read. This shows some of them. Let me try to see if I can maybe read some of them. Because I really feel like the youth should respect themselves. I feel like the youth should respect themselves. We, the youth, should respect ourselves. There is nothing that will ever make me a different tribe. Nothing. I am a Nuer. I was born a Nuer. And there is nothing that can take that away from me. Even if I die, they will still remember that Ruth is a Nuer. And that is what I have in my documents. So you should not force people to make you feel good. It doesn't work like that. This world, it doesn't work like that. No, I will never be another tribe. I was born a Nuer, and I am a Nuer. Nothing will change that. If you are a Dinka, you are born a Dinka, nothing will change that. A Equatorian, nothing will change that. A Shiluk, nothing will change that. We are all South Sudanese. You cannot want everybody to be from your tribe. It cannot be possible. We can never change that. We are created the way we are, and we should respect ourselves, love ourselves the way we are, and accept other people. Because the all 64 tribes, all of us, complete South Sudan. So you should not want to don't accept the ego, the greed of you should only be known as the best president or as the best community. No. Anything that is too much, that become a disease. We should all treat ourselves equally. When I'm called Nyalel and you are called Atong, and the other one is called Galwak, and the other one is called Okuny, and the other one is called Deng, all of us complete South Sudan. No one is more prioritized or no one is more superior. You don't have 3 eyes. You don't have 2 eyes. There is nothing so special about you that the other tribe don't have. This is not right. And there is no another person that will come from another place. No white people will come. Not Kenya people will come. Another person will not come to tell us South Sudanese on how to live among ourselves. It will not happen. it will only be us telling ourselves the truth. When you go to Blue House today, if you go to Blue House today and check the community that is too much in Blue House, 90% of the people in Blue House, 90% of the people in Blue House are from Dinkawarap and Dinkawil. They are not even Nuer. They are not even Shiluk. The percentage, the highest percentage in Blue House are the people that come from Warap and Awil. But because they see this government come from them, they decided to keep quiet. They decided to suffer. They are suffering in silence. And this is what made me to say that most people in South Sudan, there is something called silent cry. We are practicing something called silent cry. Everybody are crying silently except the Nuer people. Everybody is crying silently. Most of the tribes in South Sudan are crying silently except the Nuer tribe. The Nuer tribe come out and tell you that this and this will happen. We will do ABCD because the Nuer don't have secrets. And this is what I love about the Nuer. As much as it affects the community, but when it comes to the side of uniting or unity, the Nuer people, you see on social media, the Nuer call themselves Nuerweu. This, the word Nuerweu, is Weu a Nuer language? Weu is not a Nuer language. But the person that designed this word really designed it so well, knowing that when I design this word, it will divide the Nuer people. This person knew very well, when I use this word and the Nuer adopt this word, it's going to affect the Nuer people. And the word Nuerweu have destroyed the Nuer community. The word Nuerweu have killed the Nuer community. And it's still killing the Nuer community up to today. The word Nuerweu. And it was just put there. The kids are singing it. The women are singing it. The men are singing it. The elders are singing it. But where did this word come from? Where did the word Nuerweu come from? Because the Nuer could have called it Nuerioni. Why call it Nuerweu? Why? Because there is no way I will promote something that is not. I don't know the meaning. No. I believe a Nuer did not design the word Nuerweu. No. Then let's make it maybe Nuerioni instead of saying Nuerweu, because this Weu, it's not our own word. It is not our own language. But the person that designed this word really knew. This person knows the Nuer language very well. Huh? This person carry the Nuer very well. Huh? So, everybody should know that when you are dividing the other community, when you want the Nuer to continue fighting, when you want to continue dividing the Nuer community, South Sudan will be stuck. Because when the Nuer are fighting, South Sudan will not go forward. This is something that you people did not know, or you did not calculate or think. Because you think that if the Nuer are fighting, the other tribe will have peace, or the other tribe will build themselves. It is not possible. In your body as a human being, when your eye is paining, your whole body will pain, because the eye is part of your body. When your teeth is paining, the whole body will pain, because that is part of your body. Your leg, your hand, that is the same thing. When the Nuer are fighting, when the Dinka are fighting, when the Equatorian are fighting, we all face the challenges or the consequences because we are one body, united by what is called South Sudan. This is something we don't think about when you want to divide communities. This is something you don't think about when you call the Nuer people terrorists, when you call the Nuer people rebels, Because when you continue calling them rebels, when you continue calling them terrorists, and then these terrorists you are saying will stick in your brain, but to them, then it will affect them. The both of you will be in the same place. You will be in one place. You will be stuck in one place. You will not move forward, and the Nuer will not move forward. We will all be backward. This is what we are not thinking about when we look at South Sudan, because a lot of people see tribes are very far from each other, because nothing have ever actually united the South Sudanese. We have never been together for 10 years. We have never been together for 20 years. Nothing have ever united us. The leadership of President Salva Kiir have been a very funny leadership that have been continue promoting tribalism even without us seeing. He picked a Nuer to become a governor in Nuer land. He picked a Equatoria to become a governor in the Equatorian land. Same, he picked a Dinka to become a Dinka governor in the Dinka land. So when you are speaking your Dinka language, when you're speaking your Nuer language with your leaders or the Equatorian language, South Sudan will not move forward. Because the Nuer will see themselves, okay, it's only their Nuer language that they know. They don't know about what happened in the other counties or in the other states. Same to the Dinka. They speak their Dinka language in their gathering. So there's no respect for the government. There is no risk. They don't see these leaders as their own leaders. No, they see them as their Dinka people. They see them as their Nuer people. They see them as the Equatorian people. You see? And this thing is affecting us more than even these wars we are fighting. Because we don't know that. We don't know that you see this person as your own. A very good example, you remember there was this guy that came out and said, no, this time we are not going to vote for any OA. We are not going to vote for any OA that is not bringing medicine. OA that is not building hospitals. OA that is not doing ABCD. Huh? So this alone, when you check, the next day he was already in Blue House. He was called for the whole day. He was being tortured. He was being questioned. This guy came from Wara. He came from Twitch. He did not come from the Dinka, the Nueri land or any other land. He came from the Dinka people. So the only difference in our country is we are suffering in different corners. We don't know. If the Nuer now can be moving freely to the Dinka land, and the Dinka land move freely to the Nuer land, and the Equatorians move freely to the Nuer and the Dinka land, and the Nuer and the Dinka and the Shilluk move to Equatorian, and when we intermingle and move around our states and our counties, we will realize we have been fools for a very long time. We have been misused for a very long time. We have been sleeping for a very long time. Some of the people today don't even want to think about somebody called Salva Kiir. When you ask them, they say, Dr. John. Those that know Dr. Riek will say, Dr. Riek. Nobody wants to talk about President Salva. Why? Why does South Sudanese don't want to talk about President Salva? Do you think it's because they don't know President Salva? They know President Salva, but they cannot talk about somebody that have been killing them. They don't see him as a leader. They see him as their own problem. Because the problem South Sudanese have today is President Salva. Nothing else. Because he changed the same thing in and out. Every morning, what he say in the morning and what he say in the evening are not the same. Now he's talking about election. South Sudanese are dying everywhere. He's talking about election. That he wants to go to election. Who will vote? He doesn't care. The 2 people or 3 people he will find maybe in Juba will vote. And they will put him as a president. South Sudanese are still saying, we will die. We cannot go to the street. We cannot do revolution because they will kill us. But you are dying. What? You are dying. Is there a different death again? Is there a different death? Because imagine you are saying you don't want to go to the street, that you will be killed, that you are afraid. But the bombs are coming to your area. The helicopters are coming to your area to bomb you. They are using something called cattle riding, because this cattle riding actually, I've come to realize, it is not what you used to think that it is. Some government officials are organizing this cattle riding. It is not natural. The government is also using cattle riding, whereby they organize so well, and when a certain community is quiet, they send some people to go and raid their cattle, and people fight to keep South Sudanese busy. When we are busy killing each other, you see, when we are busy killing each other in our communities, in our counties, in our villages, then they are busy looting our resources. They are busy planning which county need guns, which state need guns, this is what they plan. They don't plan for medicine, and that's why we don't have medicine in our places. They don't plan for schools, and that's why we don't have schools. Children learn under the trees. And South Sudan should be the best country in the whole world, because we are the last born of the world. Everything has been developed in the world. We just put it into South Sudan context. That is it. There are engineers all over the world. South Sudan should be maybe full of robots right now working for us in the farms and cultivating food for us. This is what we should be thinking of maybe. If we don't want to work with, if everybody wants to be a suit person, then we can purchase robots, and the robot will farm for us. Robots are already there. Everything has been designed. So South Sudan should be the fastest growing country. Our economy should be the best, because we are not many. We have all the natural resources that are needed. But why? No, we cannot do that. Why? Because we have a parasite. Because I call President Salva a parasite in South Sudanese skin. He's a parasite in our blood. A parasite eating our blood. A parasite eating our brain. A parasite eating our heart. A parasite that is paralyzing South Sudanese. That is the best word we can give Salva. Because he's a parasite we cannot see. When we see a potential leader in our communities, President Kiir will come and pick him. He will give him a position. Once he gives him a position, Kalas, South Sudanese now will be against that person, because he will not do any services to his people. A very good example, there have been people that have been appointed recently. We have been having the director for iRadio. The director for iRadio. What did he do? Because he wanted to finish the young man, he picked him and he put him in the board of, I don't know, something broadcasting news. What is broadcasting in South Sudan that deserve important people? Nothing. When President Kiir give you a position, he's like he's handing you over your coffin. He give you your coffin. That's what President Salva do. Anytime he appoints you, he gives you a coffin. Because the government of South Sudan is full of enemies. Anybody that have been appointed, most of the people have been removed. They are not happy. So anytime you are appointed in their position, you automatically, your life is 70%, 30%. It's like you are in this level, you are in the sky, waiting for either you will be shot dead by the enemies that they were removed and they put your position, they put you in the position. And then within a short time, you hear, so-and-so, they said, a non-gunmen have shoot so-and-so down, so-and-so is dead. All these things are the games President Salva do in our country. But there's how many people, anybody that still sing Oye, anybody that sing SPLA Oye, is the person killing South Sudanese. Any person that is still singing SPLA Oye, these are the people that are destroying South Sudan at the moment. Because what is Oye? What are you yawing? Or what are you yaying? Because there's nothing to show for this Oye. Only death. Only graves. Only massacres. That is what this Oye is giving us. And that's why I was asking people before, what does this Oye means? Because this Oye have been associated with a lot of deaths. This Oye have a lot of blood in it. Anytime somebody say Oye, we remember all the people that this Oye have killed. We remember all the massacres these Oyes have caused. Because these Oye have caused a lot of lives. How many uncles are dead because of Oye? How many fathers are dead because of Oye? Everybody is gone because of this word Oye. So when you hear somebody saying Oye, you should know this is the person digging the grave of South Sudanese. This is the person digging the grave of South Sudanese. So I wanted to read something simple, and from there I will finish my show. But we have to think as South Sudanese this time. There is nothing like your uncle. There is nothing like your father is supporting this. There's nothing like what anybody that doesn't support South Sudanese. That person become the enemy of South Sudanese. It is no longer, it doesn't love us. That person hates us. So I wrote an article this morning, very short article, and I want to read it step by step. Because we don't actually understand how things happen in our country. We don't even read history. We don't even want to care that how this country was even, how did this even country come? Some people want to write their own history. Some people only want things that happen to continue. But this is not true. We have to make sure that history is given, credit is given to those who fought for it. So here I will be comparing two agreements. The Khartoum Agreement of 21st April 1997, which was going for independence, self-determination and referendum, and the 2018 peace agreement. These two are very important now in the history of South Sudan. I will not mention CPA because the CPA is what we have in 2018 peace agreement, and the CPA already complete, which is the 2011. So I said, South Sudanese, do we truly understand the difference between the 1997 Khartoum Peace Agreement and the 2018 Revitalized Peace Agreement? The two agreements represent different stages of one vision. They are two different stages done in different places with different of, like they have different of 21 years. These two have a difference of 21 years. But they are all going to one vision. The first was about finding it, securing the right to self-determination and a referendum. The one of 1997 was to secure the self-determination, making sure that we found South Sudan, and referendum, which is now achieved. Now we have South Sudan. So this agreement of 1997 was to make sure that we secure something called self-determination and a referendum, making South Sudanese to have their own country, which we today call South Sudan, that we just celebrated recently on the 9th of July 2026, which we just celebrated 15 years of this simple, hard journey that started many years ago. The second was about building it now. Now that we have the South Sudan. Now that we even celebrated 15 years. Because a lot of people think that when we get the country, that is enough. No. The real work now begin. The real work now begin. A very good example that I can share is when a man is getting married, there's a lot of processes. There's a lot of struggles, seducing the young girl, making the woman to love you or to choose you, or the girl to choose you among all the suitors that are competing in the market. When now you win her and you marry this young lady, then you bring her to her home. The day you bring her to her home, that is now when the journey started. The journey now will be called marriage. You as a man, you will be called a married man, and she will be called a married woman. The two of you become what? The two of you become couples. You will be called couples. And this is when now visitors will start visiting this man's house, because there is a woman in his house. So that's what happened. We now got independent in 2011. And this is when now the real job begin. Just like a real job of a married man begin the day that woman wake up in his house for the first time in the morning and she drink tea in his house. That is when now the job of becoming a husband started. Making peace is one thing now. Because the whole South Sudanese that fought for 21 years, the whole South Sudanese that have visited different countries, and they got different cultures from those countries, now have to be united by something that called peace. So now peace become a need to South Sudan. After getting the independence, then peace become a need. And then again, after peace become a need, then there's something that it calls building the nation. Then now the nation again need to be built. So that become again a need for South Sudanese. Another thing will be making the independent work for all South Sudanese. Now making this independent, making this South Sudan, this new beautiful nation become for now everybody. Become for all the 64 tribes of South Sudan. Not to only belong to one tribe. No, but to belong to 64 tribes of South Sudan. And this is now where the South Sudanese are stuck. Of making sure the peace comes. Of making sure that they build the nation. By making sure that they look at themselves as South Sudanese. They don't see themselves as so-and-so, this tribe, or this tribe. And this is the biggest problem that have taken us so far 8 years. So far, it have taken us 8 years. So if this have taken us 8 years, or this have taken us 15 years, then what do? South Sudanese now need to think. Because we have this problem that need to be done, not by one person. This is what it's called, when there's something that people usually say, that one hand cannot clap itself. Then where people will say, Terkel, yarode pat. This is the best way I can say it. The Nuer say, Terkel, yarode pat. So the English say, one hand cannot clap itself. When you add the two hands, they clap themselves. Now that is what needs to happen. South Sudanese now need to clap their hands together at once. This is now what is needed. It will not be done by one tribe. It will not be done by two tribes. Even the smallest tribe in South Sudan need to put their hands, their fingers in building South Sudan. And that's why God say, I will bless the work of your hands. not the work of your eyes, not the work of your mouth, not the work of your brain. He said, I will bless the work of your hands. So South Sudanese hands all need to be part, to be involved in building, in making, in molding our beautiful young nation, South Sudan. So from 1997 to 2018, that is 21 years of struggling and political journey, while 2018 to 2026 is 8 years of trying to implement peace and build the nation we all achieve. And this is very important for South Sudanese to understand. Even a Nuer woman who is not educated is needed in building this. Even a Dinka lady that is in the village that doesn't know even English or any language, only know Dinka language, is needed. Their hands are needed in this. The Equatorians in the deep villages, their hands are needed in this. The Shiluk hands in deep villages are needed in this molding. It is not for educated people alone. It is not for village people alone. It is for all South Sudanese, educated, non-educated. All are needed to build. Mothers have a role. Sisters have a role. Fathers have a role. Brothers have a role. The soldiers have a role. The leaders have a role. Everybody, including our animals, including our resources, anything that is included within South Sudan have a role in building this beautiful nation called South Sudan. So now let's finalize by saying history is a journey. History is a journey. And history, if it's a journey, then find a nation is one step. We already found the nation. But building, protecting, and uniting, it is the responsibility of every generation. Not this generation alone. No, you remember many generations from 1980 something started this drama, this journey. They fought, they die. Another ones were born, they fought, they die. Now the elders we are having in front of us, like President Salva is 74 years, Dr. Riek is 73 years. By the way, do you know that Dr. Riek and President Salva are following each other? Do you know that? In Nuer language we can say Kagwar. In Nuer language we can say Kagwar. So what happened? President Kir was born in September 1951, when Dr. Riek was born in November 1952. So they are following each other. They are followers. And that's why when this drama was happening, I was like, okay, then these people maybe, there is something about them that maybe we need to think again. They are followers. They are following each other. And this is something that is so funny. Why will this one born in 1951 and this one born in 1952, and today they are following each other in leadership? President Salva is here, Dr. Riek is here, and they are following each other step by step by step in everything in this all journey. Why? So, generations, even our generation will finish. The generation we are in will finish, and the generation will happen to be our kids will again come up. That generation, another generation will come. After us, another generation will come. After that generation, another generation will come. Generations are the one that will continue to build this nation called South Sudan. It is up to you. If that generation comes, will they remember you of good things, or they will learn bad things about you? So that is you are making as an individual. Because a time will come when everybody will be remembered with their history. We can combine ourselves as the Nuer, as the Dinka, as the Equatorians, as the Shiluk. But a time will come when your name alone will be the one to be mentioned. And that is up to you. What are you building for your name? So note this. The road to freedom finds the nation. The road to peace builds the home. Those who fought to open the door must teach those who came after to protect the what lies beyond it. So it's our responsibility to make or show our kids, our young ones, how important it was fighting for the independence of South Sudan. If we don't care about our independence, if we don't write books about our independence, if we don't put facts about how we got our independence, it will be so easy for the next generations to come not to remember how we got the independence of South Sudan. It is so, we are so lucky that the independence of South Sudan got us here. We can call ourselves part of the history. I vote for referendum. You vote for referendum. This alone make you part of the history. And this is so beautiful that actually South Sudanese should record a one country-wide video whereby millions voices of South Sudanese should be recorded and put together. How did they feel when we got our independence? How did they feel when they realized they were voting for referendum, for separation? And again, how was the journey of praying every single day in the churches saying, God give us our nation, God give us our country? Because I used to remember when we were young, my mom, they used to pray in the church. Every time we go to the church, there are always some prayers requests that people will give and people will pray about. And they have never forget praying for Kut Kamniko Munda, Kut Kamniko Jinuba Sudan. These are words that we never miss in any prayers when we were fighting for our country. But immediately we got our country, all those prayers, I don't know where did they go. People forgot the prayers they used to do, the requests they used to give even in the churches. The story changed to money. The story changed to slaughtering cows in government offices when you are given position. The story changed to going to different places instead of thanking God of what He gave you or her. So this is something that it's so funny. And I am here to remind you today that the journey was not easy. The journey from the people who fought for it, there are those that are not alive today. But we are alive to protect our what? Our independence. We are alive to at least contribute our part in building our nation that many lost their life fighting for, and now we have it in our lifetime. This is something that is very beautiful that all of us should hold hands as South Sudanese. We should stop thinking of this tribe or we have to be the richest tribe. There is no tribe that is supposed to be the richest tribe in South Sudan. We are supposed to be South Sudanese. If we are rich together. If we are poor together. If we are happy together. If we are sad, we are sad together. So that's what I wanted to share today. Let me give you one song.